All right, strap yourselves in, because today we're diving into some really wild stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking Planet Nine, ancient myths, maybe even some doomsday prophecies.
Sounds a little intense.
Oh, it gets intense, believe me.
Yeah.
We've got a whole collection of articles and excerpts that our listeners have sent in.
Oh, fantastic.
And they all revolve around this idea of a ninth planet and its connection to, get this, Nibiru.
Wow. That's
a big one.
Yeah, it brings together a lot of different things.
Yeah, it really does.
Science, Sumerian texts, you name it.
It's a lot to unpack, but let's start with the science, shall we?
Sounds good.
So you've included some research by those Kelpic guys, Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown.
Yeah, Batygin and Brown.
What have they actually found?
Well, they haven't actually seen a new planet.
Okay.
Not through a telescope anyway.
Right.
But what they have found is this gravitational anomaly
Okay.
way out there past Pluto. And the best way to explain it, they think, is that there's a massive planet we haven't seen yet.
So it's like we can see something's happening out there.
Yeah.
But we can't actually see what it is.
You got it.
Like a cosmic ghost.
That's one way to put it.
It's affecting things, but we can't see it directly.
Exactly. It's influencing the movements of other objects out there in the Kuiper Belt.
Oh, wow. The Kuiper Belt.
Yeah.
Now, that's a place I wouldn't want to get lost in.
Pretty empty out there.
A little too far for a vacation, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So this Planet Nine, as they call it,
right,
has an incredibly long orbit.
It does. We're talking tens of thousands of years to go around the sun.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, a cosmic year in the truest sense.
Talk about a long-distance relationship.
Yeah.
But now, you've also included some information about Nibiru.
Right, from the ancient Sumerians.
Yeah, a planet inhabited by the Anunnaki.
Yep, that's the idea.
And that's where Zecharia Sitchin comes in, right?
Yeah, Sitchin was, well, he was controversial.
I was going to say, he's a bit of a controversial figure.
Yeah.
But he basically claimed to have deciphered these ancient Sumerian texts.
He did. He said they talked about Nibiru, a planet that swings through our solar system every 3,600 years.
Wow.
Causing all sorts of chaos.
3,600 years, that's specific.
It is. And he went even further.
Yeah.
He believed that the Anunnaki...
Those beings from...
Yeah, the Anunnaki that they visited Earth a long time ago. And he said they jump-started human civilizations.
Okay, now we're talking aliens building pyramids, right?
Well, that's kind of the image that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember a lot of scholars don't agree with Sitchin's interpretations.
Right, so it's not exactly mainstream science.
Not exactly.
So we've got Planet Nine, this hypothetical planet with a super long orbit based on real scientific observation. And then we have Nibiru, this mythical planet from ancient Sumerian texts.
Yep.
Made popular by Sitchin.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Some people think they're the same planet. It's a fascinating thought.
It is, isn't it? I mean, the descriptions kind of match up.
Yeah. A big planet with a long, weird orbit.
It's a pretty big coincidence if it's not the same thing.
So are we saying that the Sumerians thousands of years ago somehow knew about this planet that scientists are just discovering now?
It's possible, but we need more evidence.
Right.
We can't get ahead of ourselves.
But it's definitely intriguing.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes you think.
It does.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that Planet Nine and Nibiru are the same thing.
Okay.
You've also included some pretty intense predictions about what might happen if this planet comes close to Earth.
Yeah, there are some wild theories out there.
Like what?
Well, some scientists say that Planet Nine could disrupt things in the outer solar system.
Okay.
Send more comets and asteroids our way.
Right.
Which would mean a higher chance of impact.
Oh, well, that's not good.
But impacts are always a possibility, even without Planet Nine.
Right, it's part of the cosmic dance.
Exactly.
So maybe a few more close calls.
Maybe.
But not necessarily the end of the world.
We don't think so.
But then you have Sitchin's ideas.
Ah, yes, Sitchin.
He believed that Nibiru had already caused major catastrophes on Earth.
Like the biblical flood, he said.
The flood. Wow.
Yeah, he went there.
So he's saying Planet Nine caused the flood.
That's what he believed.
That's a bold claim.
It is, but there's no real scientific evidence to back it up.
Okay, so we have the scientifically plausible but not necessarily catastrophic scenario.
Right.
And we have the ancient myth meets doomsday prophecy scenario.
Yeah, two ends of the spectrum.
Exactly, two ends of the spectrum. And then we have V.M. Ravelou, the spiritual writer you mentioned.
Oh, yes, Ravelou.
Where does he fit in?
Well, he claimed to have seen visions.
Visions?
Yeah, of a red planet called
Hercolubus, okay.
colliding with Earth
Whoa.
and causing massive destruction.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
And this Hercolubus, it's like Nibiru.
Similar descriptions, yes.
It's even bigger, right.
Way bigger. He said it was 5 or 6 times larger than Jupiter. Yeah.
That's huge.
It is.
So how does that square with what scientists are saying about Planet 9?
Well, you have to be careful with these kinds of visions.
Right.
They're not always meant to be taken literally.
More symbolic, maybe?
Possibly, or a warning.
About our own self-destructive tendencies?
Could be.
I mean, we're pretty good at messing things up.
That's true.
So maybe it's not about a literal planet smashing into us.
Maybe not.
But more about the choices we make.
And the consequences
I know.
that impact on the planet, on each other.
So ancient myths, modern science, spiritual visions.
And a whole lot of unanswered questions.
It's enough to make your head spin.
It is a lot to take in.
But it's fascinating, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes you think about our place in the universe.
And our responsibility.
Exactly.
To ourselves, to each other, to the planet.
Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But there's so much more to explore.
Oh, yeah.
So buckle up, because this deep dive is just getting started.
I'm ready.
Me too.
Let's do it.
It's wild how this Planet 9 Nibiru thing connects to these really big questions.
Yeah, like our place in the universe.
Exactly. I mean, we've got science trying to figure out what's actually out there.
The physical reality.
Yeah, and then these ancient myths and spiritual traditions.
Right, offering a different perspective.
Like two sides of the same coin.
I like that.
On one side, you've got science, all about observations and measurements.
Empirical evidence.
Exactly. And then you have these ancient stories.
Passed down through generations.
Yeah, trying to make sense of the cosmos through myths and symbols.
It's fascinating.
It really is. And speaking of ancient stories,
yeah,
you included some excerpts for the Book of Revelation.
Oh, Revelation. That's a powerful one.
Intense imagery.
Definitely.
Talk about apocalyptic events.
Stars falling from the sky, poisoned waters.
It's heavy stuff, and some people think those passages are prophecies about Nibiru.
About its return and the havoc it'll cause.
Now, I know we have to take those interpretations with a grain of salt.
Of course, interpretations vary.
But even if we don't read them literally,
right,
they tap into some primal fears, don't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The end of the world.
Forces beyond our control.
It's something that's been with humanity for a long time.
The fear of the unknown.
The fragility of our existence.
Exactly. So maybe these apocalyptic stories, whether we believe them literally or not,
right,
they're a way for us to process those fears.
To grapple with the big questions.
To find meaning in the chaos.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the science, the myths, the prophecies.
Right.
But you've also included sources that take a more, I guess you could say, spiritual approach.
Yeah, a different lens to look through.
They suggest these cosmic events might be part of a bigger process.
A spiritual evolution.
Okay, now that's interesting. What does that even mean, spiritual evolution?
Well, there are many interpretations, but a common thread is this idea that humanity's on the verge of a major shift.
Shift?
Yeah, in consciousness.
Okay, so like from material to spiritual.
In a way, yes.
More interconnectedness, more compassion.
Exactly, moving beyond our current limitations.
Wow, that's a big idea.
It is.
And how does this consciousness shift tie into Planet 9, Nibiru, all that?
Well, some believe that these events, whether they're real or symbolic, act as catalysts for this transformation.
Okay, I'm following you.
Like wake-up calls, shaking us out of our complacency.
Forcing us to confront our fears.
Exactly, and prompting us to reevaluate our priorities.
So it's like the universe is giving us a nudge.
A cosmic nudge.
Yeah, saying, hey, time to evolve.
Time to grow, time to wake up.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
It is. It reframes these events, doesn't it?
Instead of just being destructive.
They become opportunities.
For growth and transformation.
Even on a global scale.
It's like, instead of fearing the end of the world, we can embrace the possibility of a new beginning.
A rebirth of consciousness.
A more enlightened humanity.
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
It really is. Okay, so I've got the scientific view, the mythological view, the spiritual view, and this evolutionary view.
Quite a mix.
It's like looking through a kaleidoscope. Every turn reveals a different pattern.
And that's what makes this topic so fascinating.
It really does.
It challenges us to think beyond our usual frameworks.
To consider multiple perspectives.
And to embrace the mystery.
Well said. Now, you've also included some archaeological findings.
Right.
Like that giant skeleton found in Iran.
That's a popular one.
Some people say it's proof of the Anunnaki.
Right. Evidence of ancient astronauts.
But is there any real evidence to back that up?
Well, the article you shared is pretty sensationalized. It doesn't cite any credible sources.
No reputable archaeologists or anything.
Not really. It's a good example of how misinformation spreads.
Especially online.
People are eager to believe.
Especially when it comes to things like aliens and ancient mysteries.
It captures the imagination.
So, a healthy dose of skepticism is probably a good idea.
Always a good idea.
But it does make you wonder.
What's that?
Why are we so drawn to these stories of ancient astronauts and lost civilizations?
It's a good question.
Is it a longing for something bigger than ourselves?
Maybe a desire to connect with something ancient and powerful?
A need to understand our origins?
Possibly. Or maybe it's just the thrill of the unknown.
The mystery of it all.
It's a powerful draw.
It is. It's like we're trying to piece together a giant cosmic puzzle.
And we're looking for the missing pieces.
Exactly, even if they don't quite fit.
Sometimes those mismatched pieces lead to the most interesting discoveries.
That's true. Sometimes the things that don't make sense are the most important.
They challenge our assumptions.
And force us to reevaluate our understanding.
Which can lead to new insights and perspectives.
So it's not about finding all the answers.
No.
But about asking the right questions.
And being open to the possibilities.
To the vastness and mystery of the universe.
And to the unknown potential within ourselves.
It's amazing how this deep dive has taken us from, like, the edges of the solar system to the inner workings of our minds.
It really has, hasn't it?
We've talked about the science, the myths, the spiritual stuff.
And the possibility of a consciousness shift.
Yeah, but there's one thing we haven't fully explored yet.
And what's that?
The power of belief.
Ah, that's a big one.
It is, and it's something that runs through a lot of these sources you gave me.
How so?
Well, some people believe these events, Planet 9, Nibiru, all that, they think they might be manipulated.
Simulated.
Yeah, like orchestrated for some hidden agenda.
You mean like Project BOE Beam?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Right, the idea that powerful forces are using this to control people.
Exactly, but even if we put those more extreme ideas aside, there's still this question of how our beliefs shape our reality.
Our hopes, our fears, all of that.
Like, regardless of what's actually happening out there in space, our reaction to it, the way we interpret it, it reveals a lot about our own internal, I don't know, matrix.
Interesting way to put it.
It's like that article you included, the one that asks, are you determined to escape the matrix?
I remember that one. It's a powerful piece.
It argues that true freedom comes from within.
From questioning our assumptions.
From choosing our beliefs.
Instead of just accepting what we're told.
So it's not just about the external events.
But about our internal state.
Exactly. If we approach this with fear and powerlessness, then we're more likely to be manipulated.
To get stuck in negative patterns.
But if we approach it with curiosity, with open minds.
With critical thinking.
Then it becomes an opportunity.
For growth, for understanding, for empowerment.
It's like we have a choice.
We always have a choice.
How we respond to these events.
And that choice determines our path.
Regardless of what happens out there in the cosmos.
We create our own reality, in a way.
So we've got science, myths, spirituality, and this idea that our beliefs shape our reality.
It's a powerful concept.
It is. And one more thing that keeps coming up.
What's that?
This idea of cyclical catastrophes.
Oh, right. The idea that history repeats itself.
You've got all these sources talking about ancient myths.
Floods, lost civilizations, the whole 9 yards.
Like the story of Atlantis.
Yeah, Atlantis is a classic example.
These stories have been around for a long time.
They're part of our collective consciousness.
And they shape our understanding of time and history.
They make us wonder if we're doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past.
It's like, are we just hardwired to see patterns?
Even when they're not really there.
Yeah, like we need to believe that history has a plan.
A predictable cycle of rise and fall.
But maybe that's a trap.
A trap.
Yeah, because if we're too focused on the past,
we might miss what's happening in the present.
And the opportunities that come with it.
So it's about finding a balance.
Learning from history without being bound by it.
Exactly. Acknowledging the past, but also embracing the present.
And preparing for the future.
Preparing for the future, how do we do that?
Not in a doomsday prepper way.
No, not stockpiling supplies.
But by cultivating resilience.
Adaptability.
A commitment to our values.
So that we can face whatever comes our way.
With courage and compassion.
It's about inner strength.
And wisdom.
And the belief that we can create a better future.
Even in the face of uncertainty.
Exactly. It's not about predicting the future.
But about shaping it.
With our choices, our actions, our beliefs.
This deep dive has been quite a journey.
It really has.
From the outer edges of our solar system to the depths of our own minds.
We've explored a lot of different ideas.
And encountered some pretty mind-blowing possibilities.
But one thing that stands out for me...
What's that?
...is this emphasis on personal responsibility.
Yeah, I see it too. It's like, no matter what's happening out there in the cosmos,
we have a choice in how we respond.
We have the power to shape our own reality.
And that's a powerful realization.
It is. It's like a wake-up call.
A reminder that we're not just passive observers.
We're active participants in this cosmic dance.
And our choices matter.
More than we might realize.
So what have we learned from this deep dive?
Well, we've learned that the universe is a vast and mysterious place.
And that we're still just scratching the surface of our understanding.
We've learned about the power of ancient myths.
And the importance of critical thinking.
We've explored the potential for a consciousness shift.
And the importance of choosing our beliefs wisely.
But most importantly, I think we've learned that we have the power to create our own future.
To shape our destiny both individually and collectively.
That's a message of hope.
And empowerment.
So keep looking up, keep learning, keep exploring.
And never stop asking questions.
The universe is full of wonders, and the journey is just beginning.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
And until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of the cosmos and the depths of your own being.